Hello, everyone. Hello, all you beautiful Twitch audience folks. I am Jonathan, bringing you back with episode 2 of our Cyberpunk campaign. As you can see, we've already got some improvements. The green screen, or shall we say orange screen, is now actually functioning. We've got our fun fonts here instead of Arial. No, who wants Arial font on a Twitch stream? I know, I don't. But we're all here. As before, I am Jonathan, pronounced he, any, your game master for the evening. We had a lot of fun. Episode 1, a lot of things happened, but before we do a brief recap, let's reintroduce ourselves, our lovely folks, our lovely players here. Name, pronouns, character handle, and if there's anything fun you would like to share on topic or not. Maybe you found $5 today. I don't know. Let's go. Let's start with Lee over here, and then go clockwise, just like before.
Hi, I'm Lee. I'm Unlikely Gamer on Twitch, and I am playing Beau Delarue. He is a fixer, and he is basically a human like golden retriever. He is he's just real darn pretty. Like, you'd want to hate him, but he's just so nice, and he just wants everyone to feel included and to have a good time. He also runs the Neon Garden, which is kind of a place to enjoy yourself and escape from the cyber reality outside. And fun fact, I don't know how fun this is, I'm getting over being sick. So if I have to mute a bunch to cough, I apologize in advance.
Yeah, not being sick, not fun. Improving on sickness, I'll count that as fun. That's in the positive column there. All right, over to Matthew.
Sure. Hi, I am Matthew. He, him, his, and I am playing Opera, the tragically misunderstood technohemian who was not appreciated in his own time. And I guess I'll make it holiday themed, but I started spatchcocking turkeys before it got popular.
Before it was cool. And for those who may not know what the arguably suggestive prep method of that means, what is spatchcocking?
You know, if you've ever seen the movie Predator, you basically do what the Predator does to people to your turkey. You just rip out the spine, and then you do CPR all wrong on it, and it flattens it down.
That is the best description of spatchcocking I have ever heard, and I will be using that from now on. Thank you.
Fantastic. No notes. No notes. Yep. Yeah, no need to elaborate from there. Next up, Angela.
Hey, I am Angela, she, her, playing Tara Trilby, nicknamed Patch. She is the medtech of the group. She has a twin brother who is nicknamed Scratch, collectively known as Patch and Scratch. And she just watched the driver of the group lose an arm. So we're going to find out what happens.
You know, it
as you do.
From time to time.
Fun fact. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Fun fact, I did not find $5 today.
Aw.
That's okay. I didn't either. Then we've got Ashley.
I'm Ashley, she, her, and I'm playing Pixie. She is the driver that lost an arm, as Angela mentioned. And yeah, so she drives, but she is a part of a magic act family, but they also are smugglers, and a job went wrong, and so she's out for revenge to see if she can find who is responsible and get a little payback. And then a fun fact is that it's the Monday after a holiday break, and I'm here, and it's great.
Yeah. Hey, that absolutely, that is very, very fun. And yes, as I'm seeing here in the chat, as far as the VOD going on YouTube, I do have it edited all Here's my discovery over the week. The YouTube Studio Editor is not the most intuitive interface, and that is the most diplomatic way that I can put it. Downloaded it, which was its own issues, and edited it myself. Is all ready to go in Final Cut Pro, but my laptop struggled with actually uploading or sharing it. It continuously runs out of space, even though I clear like 100 gigs worth of stuff off of there. Somehow it's like, I'm out of space. No, you're not, you liar. Point being, the VOD for episode 1, I'm so very sorry I was not able to get that shared on YouTube earlier, but it will be soon. That being said, segueing right into the recap from last week. And as always, so for... There we go. So, as always, for the music, background, sound effects, voice mods, anything, if anything is too loud, too soft, unintelligible, let me know, players or audience, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. For quick aside to my players here, I know there's a little bit of like doubling up of volume in Foundry and also pipe through my mic feed, so I am not going to be playing music through Foundry anymore. It's just coming through one place. Okay. Last time on Cyberpunk, we met our team. Beau, the fixer, who was contacted by a excuse me, a man, the job owner there. It is, what in the, sorry, I instantly lost my place in the notes. Shaw Rosenmaker, aka the Gardener, who is the primary investor, the money behind the Neon Garden, which is the environment, the everything that Beau is in charge of, a garden of positivity, delights, entertainment, and otherwise positive face in Echo Center, the place where we're all from, the central city here. They were given a job to find some new tech. This was brand new, hot off the press information, so they had to try and get the drop on anyone else trying to salvage this tech. Beau was able to round together our small team here. Pixie, the nomad role, the driver. Patch, our med tech to keep folks nice and fixed up. And then Opera, our tech, who is the, closest we've got to Inspector Gadget here, dealing with all the security and technology that we're sure to run into, trying to recover this old salvageable tech. They made it to an entrance there in the junkyard, were able to get in, came across an empty city, found a doorway into an elevator that led downward. When they got in said elevator, they were able to get it back in working order, and when they started descending, they heard voices overhead and then boots on the car. What ensued was a highly excited, high energy, high excitement elevator battle. Once the VOD is up, hopefully y'all will be able to see it then, because it's moving elevator thing, which, side note, a important attribution that I forgot to mention at the end of last episode, that moving elevator map is courtesy of Solution Maps. Thank you for that. There were 4 people who were seemingly trying to get to the same bit of technology, and that music, why are you getting that much louder, music? Calm down. There we go. Battle ensued. People were shot in various things. Pixie actually got critically damaged and on the rollable table for Cyberpunk for critical damage. Lost an arm. Dismembered arm. Yeah, they sometimes get a little bit wild there. Okay, it's just getting intense for a moment. That music is as far as down it is will go. Yeah, dismembered arm. Some of the opposing team was taken care of, leaving just 2 of them. The elevator went into free fall after a shotgun blast to some important gears, also to one of the enemies' faces. Went into free fall. Opera is able to activate some emergency braking, stopping the elevator just before crashing into the ground. Then they, because we're a little bit short on time, basically they were able to tie up or otherwise not worry about the 2 remaining mooks who were left, one of whom had a broken arm and broken ribs thanks to Opera with a little bit of martial arts, so they are not really trying to fight it at this point. They are really messed up. Entering at the end of the hallway there after the elevator, they found a room full of old technology and servers that was in fact untouched. They were able to get it operational. And once it turned on, after a few bit of sort of digital voices saying things like loading, operating, booting up, you met a new friend. A friend known as Friend Computer. And that is where we find ourselves now. Friend Computer simply said that they need a little help with a bit of troubleshooting. And so that is where we resume. Yes, in fact, James, Friend Computer is back. So, choking on Panera sandwich. Yes, that was the sort of reveal energy I was going for. So we are going to pick right up right there in media res, talking with Friend Computer. Actually, no. Let's get right into it.
Can you remind me which of the 4
Yes.
are still alive?
Yes. So the 2 remaining mooks, they did all 4 have names, but the ones who are left are Ember and Graph. I'm going to... Graph... EMBRE and Graph, GRAFF.
So, Jonathan, I'm not sure if we want if we want to retcon this because we're still learning the system, but in addition to the riders of critical injuries deal, all critical injuries deal 5 base damage directly to hit points. I think that the one that I broke his ribs, he had 3 hit points left, so technically he would have taken another 10 points from the 2 critical injuries.
Oh,
so
I did miss that.
Depending on how close to the book we're playing. But if you need him for narrative reasons, I mean, I'm just trying to kind of learn the system a little better.
No, that is totally fair. That is, yes, something that we were going through last time is that everybody here is learning Cyberpunk system, myself included. So, yeah, that's the thing. Also, made a little bit of a mistake with the some of the stats on the very heavy pistols that they were using to shoot y'all. But, again, knowledge for the future, learning for the future. I'm going to leave that up to you all as a group. That person there who is, for the record, that one is Graph, is severely injured. I'm going to leave that up to y'all whether or not you want him to... Or no, Ember, excuse me, is severely injured. He can be dead or just like comatose here?
Coma is good.
Ember is the one you're saying would be, like, technically dead with those points from last game?
Yes. What I'm going to do here is... Actually, let's...
As long as we have one alive, I'm up for whatever.
Yeah. So I'm going to move us here. I'm actually going to go over to this screen here. Oh, no. Nope. I need to give... Why can't they see? They need to be able to see. Oh, because...
The broken arm icon is really horrific.
Yeah.
Little...
It's like,
I just saw that.
it's It's like it's made out of like porcelain or something. It broke off.
Ugh.
Oops.
It's like in a cartoon when they like pull up their arm and it's like springing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
there's an image.
Having
Awesome.
horrible
There
flashbacks
we
to that
go.
Harry Potter movie with the him, like arm like
Oh god.
Oh, yeah, on the rubber. Yeah, awesome. So this is where we find ourselves. I did have this computer server room thanks to Gimme Pig on Patreon for this particular room. But this is the central computer console that you have been operating on. These are the various computer servers aligned radially around the room. And I've stuck the two mooks here in the back, just for you to deal with them as you wish, one of whom is just completely unconscious. Let me... There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably do my best to stabilize them. Just no extraordinary measures, you know.
Sure.
Because they did just try to kill us, so...
Yeah,
Think
keep
of
them...
they stabilized our
Yeah,
Our
so they
driver.
are stabilized. Yeah, the driver is still currently have an
Missing an
arm
arm.
missing. We did have to sort of zhuzh past that a little bit for the sake of time last time, but also, it's like I said, needed to edit the episode 1. I cut nearly an hour and a half off of the original runtime of that Twitch VOD while taking out some of the dead air. So that's why I did that. Anywho.
Pixie's just got her arm slung over her shoulder and it's just like hanging out, bleeding
Yes.
out, you know.
Yes, due to the emergency breaking of the elevator, you were able to actually like recover that arm there. It is not lost down the shaft or crushed or anything like that. The only reason why I want to put a pin in that arm just for now is because there may be some relevant sort of information with that here.
Him in
Okay,
the arms.
so
She's just trying not to go into shock. It's fine.
yeah, I will say in the brief, again, generally, I'm not going to completely issue cyberpunk mechanics and whatnot, but unless we're in combat, I'm not necessarily going to be relying super heavily on those. A little bit more narrative here. So narratively, Patch, yes, you'd be able to at least stabilize people so they're not in danger of death. Stabilize Pixie, perhaps a little bit of, I don't know, Neosporin to make sure that Pixie doesn't go into shock, that sort of thing. But the reason I want to put a pin in that is, yes, as friend computer here addresses. Well, so the what you heard from friend computer before was picking up those notes. Here we go. So we can basically jump cut here of, hello, citizens. I am friend computer, and I require assistance with a bit of troubleshooting. As always, I am here for the happiness of you citizens, but unfortunately, my capabilities have been diminished. Some of my connections have been lost, including my registry for clearance has been corrupted. Currently, I am in red clearance mode, which is not optimal. If you are able to reestablish connections to my other databases, my other servers, then I will be all the more capable of helping you achieve happiness. To demonstrate said happiness, it is limited right now, but I can activate. It will be limited, but and it's, you hear some beeps and bloops, and then off to the side you hear a door open, and inside you see there is it is quite dusty in there. But Patch, you would recognize these as, this is not you haven't dealt with this exactly. You have dealt with sort of what seems like echoes of this sort of technology, but these look like some like medical tanks, some sort of like medical equipment. Most of them are covered in a thick layer of dust, no activity, but there is one tank here that is some, lovely sci-fi, like some of that gas sort of coming out of it, the like exhaust, and some lights starting to turn on, some whirring and whatnot. I have limited access to one of the cloning tubes. Currently, I only have one able to be operational, but as a demonstration of what I can be capable of, if you will troubleshoot for me, is immortality through cloning.
Bo raises his hand, like, just like he has a question.
There is a
Computer
pause.
sees it, but...
Yes, citizen.
Hey,
In the back there, yeah.
friend computer, just a real quick, look, I want everyone else to feel I'm all about the happiness part of this. Just wanted to check in. You realize you currently exist at the bottom of kind of an abandoned junkyard. There is nobody else really around. Do you know this?
Yes, it was intentional to remain hidden in the Valley of Obsolescence in order to make sure that happiness could be retained.
Look,
Not
I get
everyone. People get
you're-
jealous of happiness sometimes.
You're an introvert. I get it. But if you're here for the happiness of all your citizens, and you pushed them all away, I'm going to assume you pushed them all away and you didn't murder all of them. Isn't that kind of goes against your directive?
Well, citizens, that is where your troubleshooting comes in. If my connections are able to be reestablished, then I can reach more citizens on this island. And this... you hear a little bit of whirring, some more beeps. Yes, it does seem as if this complex has been largely abandoned. But with the right people behind these efforts, I think that can be remedied.
What exactly does happiness mean to you?
Well, the well-being of everyone, making sure you are alive, fed, entertained.
So as his newfound friends are interacting with this computer, I would assume that so Opera, he's a tech whiz. He's seen all this before. So he just kind of walks right past the big, presumably glowing with the every syllable central hub of it, and he's just looking around. He's looking for like the emergency power switch to like pull out and turn it off. And he turns to his friends. Friends, why would you even engage with this? And motion activated talking in nonsense. You are essentially trying to have a conversation with a very large Billy Big Mouth bass.
Sick burn, my dude. Look, I mean, one of my favorite movies or books is Clone Wars, so I'm always down for some cloning action. I mean, who doesn't want more of this?
Well, then
But
consider some medical supplies in advance on our reward, and let's get the critical parts out of here. We have a casualty, for God's sake.
it's true. How you doing over there with the whole arm situation?
Oh, you know, we're hanging in there.
I knew you were going to say that.
And what do we do about these bozos over here?
Yes, I was wondering about that. I'm having inklings that I may have caused a bit of an oopsie with regard to their leader, but perhaps the others have some inclination of what this is, if they were sent to find it in the first place.
That's a good point. Well, I would ask Ember. Ember seems to be a little indisposed. Graph. Hey, Graph.
Yeah.
What y'all doing down here? What y'all trying to do with all this stuff?
Look, I mean, I'll tell you everything I know, which is admittedly not a lot, but I mean, yeah, Lennox hired us, rounded us together. We were just on a job to come down here and, you know, blow up whatever we found. Like, just disable it, make sure that it wasn't. I didn't know that, like, this freaking thing would be up here. No offense, I think. I don't know.
Blow it up so it's dangerous.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to talk at me, so, I mean, maybe.
Let's be fair. Folks weren't expecting you to talk, and look at you. You're doing great.
You see that he just... Good one. Yeah, you got me.
Oh, you're just so fun to mess with, Graph. I'll turn the rest of y'all. How y'all feeling about this?
I don't think the computer ever actually really answered your questions. I mean, it responded, but are you happy with the answers?
I like that question about what do you define as happiness. But there's something real sketchy about this thing down here that seems to be fairly, at least relative to this bunker abandoned space, somewhat omnipotent.
I mean, I heard it say it wanted to keep us fed and entertained, and I can't help feeling like it also kind of wants us contained.
That's true. I don't know what its standards for entertainment are.
This is very simple. The first law of Turing-complete systems is that they will always seek to assure you that they pose no harm, and you should never believe them. That's rule number 2.
At this point, friend computer does speak up again, as to say, I understand it has been roughly a century since my last activation date. But as far as helping you, healthy, contained, well, at current, the entertainment value as well as the troubleshooting that you will need to undertake does mean that you will not remain here. As far as you there, as like the animated eye sort of swings to look at Pixie. You have sustained some injury. The technology that I have access to in the vats, they can make you whole again.
What do you mean by whole?
You are missing an appendage, are you not?
Mm-hmm. So what, you would just reattach my arm? No other funny business?
It will require some careful calibration of the cloning tubes to make sure that you are not entirely overwritten, to put it in a certain sense. But it is possible. Unlike... let me rephrase that. The same would be possible for that one over there who seems to be on the verge of death. I can only activate one cloning tube at this moment, but similarly, they could be made whole again, refreshed.
Pixie, clearly the language servers on this piece of junk were written by somebody with a flair for the dramatic. The tools I have in my couch cushions could make you whole again.
I mean,
Yes,
if they really
but if
this
there
computer...
is nothing left, can you put someone back together if there is nothing left?
This feels like a
I
trick
can do
question.
this. With the
Is this one of those
technology.
philosophical? Is this like one of those my father's hammer things?
There are no hammers involved, of that I can assure you.
I was thinking of the philosophical quandary, but maybe that's more recent than 100 years. Listen, it sounds like the idea of happiness this robot has for us is going to be bell bottoms and disco.
Look, there's a place for bell bottoms and disco. I mean, those aren't necessarily out of the question.
What's wrong with disco?
Disco ain't dead, baby. Disco's forever. But
Oh yeah.
however, I'm just getting the strongest sense of stranger danger here, and computer look. So I love that you want to be helpful, and I think that's just swell. But maybe let's get to know each other better first. So you haven't been activated in over 100 years. What activated you now? Or who activated you?
Well, the answer to your question, who activated you now, is you all. It was Opera there who sort
As
of
we walked.
yeah,
Oh, right.
booted the
Yes.
system up. And as far as 100 years, so here's now that this reveal from episode 1 has been made, a little bit more information for you all. We are currently in the year 304 CR, which may not mean a lot to y'all, but that's just where we fall in the Quelmar timeline. And you are on the island of Koff, part of the now mostly disappeared central continent of Kiston.
We're in the 304 CR in a place called Cough.
Or Cove, excuse me. Cove? I think it's Cove.
COUF.
COF.
COF. In a region, or what was the last bit?
The continent of Kiston. So there are 4 major continents in Quelmar. Let's see if I can remember them off the top of my head. There's Terrace, Pteris, Terrace, Sugbo. Nope, I knew I couldn't do it all. No, not Gallic.
And it's spelled like
Point being
kiss KISSEN or
Kiston. So I have put these names and the information there in the foundry chat.
perfect.
There.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I got all this stuff.
Yep.
We have an era.
And I will say something else occurs to you as well. It is a fair point here to decide to trust or not trust, or partially trust friend computer here. But a couple of things occur to you in that your job here was to bring back some sort of valuable technology to your job giver, the gardener. What you come back with, if anything, is up to you. And friend computer also here has mentioned there are like other locations that it will be able to give you, which may also, for the gardener or not, have some valuable technology that you can recover. whether or not you decide to fulfill its request on reestablishing the connections at one or more of those locations. Okay, we are, yep, there we are, reconnected here. I'm going to rewind far back a little bit here, just because I don't know. Yeah, Frank Computer did take the whole stream. I'm sorry, audience, I'm sorry about that, folks. It keeps doing that. I believe it is an issue with my internet provider, not naming any Xfinity names, but the upload speed is choked a little bit, which I think with all the things going on, it just drops from time to time. And I apologize. I don't think there's... I've done everything in my power to rectify that. I will continue to do research in the future to make it stop doing that. But anyways.
You mean Xfinity actually has an issue?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, agreed there, Angela. Sorry, Matthew, I missed what you said.
Oh, I said really should be called X-Finite.
Lol.
Got him. Yes. We'll rewind a little bit to what I was saying is that your decision on whether or not to partially trust Frank Computer is up to y'all. It apparently knows the location of some other places where there might be some valuable tech to salvage or to sell, to keep for yourselves, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so whatever Friend Computer is, they at least seem to be valuable to you. Potentially.
Opera, question for you. Is there like a hard drive? Well, also / DM. Is there like a hard drive for this fella? Or sorry, I don't mean to presume your computer. I don't know how you identify, but is there a hard drive or something that we can just kind of take you in a more portable format back up top so that maybe we can get to learn more about you? You know, take you out for I was gonna say take you out for a drink. I don't imagine that's what you're into, but you know, like an oil change, or I don't know how you get down, but we'll figure it out. Look, you like happiness, I like happiness. We just got more of that upstairs. Is there a way we can get you up there? A voice from beyond mentioned downloading you into a potato. I want to give you some more. I want to give you some more dignity, maybe, than that. But you know, hey, whatever you're into.
Jonathan, for the record, at least narratively, Opera is like kind of going around the room looking for wires and things like that, hopping into the pond and mucking around looking for a plug he can pull. If there's a tech roll, I could roll to help us deduce that, or if Friend Computer can turn into potatoes for us. Either way.
For sure. I would say that you, Amra, looking at this array of servers here, and just like all the technology presented here, it is at least 100 years old, it would seem, but despite some of the... despite some of the sort of strangeness, the antiquated nature of this technology, it is remarkably, impressively sophisticated for how old it's supposed to be. It's kind of the equivalent of, it may not be as sleek or as compact as what you are used to, but you are kind of impressed with the level of technology on display here. You see this array of servers here, so there's not really like a single hard drive, but as you bring this up here, Bo, Friend Computer, responds with a... Yes, if you wish, I can connect to your tablets and be able to contact you through there, or even potentially download a limited version of myself. You do have tablets, don't you? And you've got agents. You don't really call them tablets, but yeah.
Very well, Friend Computer. So I would appreciate if we can stay in the friend zone for a little bit. I have two simple questions before we embark on this madcap dash. First, are you familiar with the internet or any kind of system for transmitting information wirelessly from one terminal to another?
Yes, of course.
Are you capable of using it yourself with your current configuration?
In a limited form. I'm able to communicate wirelessly, but for my hardwired functions, my registries, clearance, that I did have connections to other complexes around the island.
An intranet, then. Well, that reassures me somewhat. And final question. Would you be willing to give us something as a token of goodwill, say part of a negotiation between us as you contract our services?
Beyond immortality for one of you? Is there something that you had in mind?
Information, text, a location of something valuable we can take away. If we're going to be removing the bulk of your processing capacity from this facility, surely there's a trinket or an object of some kind that would be valuable if separated from your housing?
I did just activate, so one moment while I conduct some scans. I will need to re-scan. Some of my memory is corrupted. As far as finding other complexes, I will need some time to relocate them, after which I can inform you all via your tablets. As far as valuable technology to take with you, I am mostly in need of what technology I shall have access to, but I think that given the state that you are all in, perhaps I can offer this. And there is another sort of sliding open noise, not quite the same as a door, but there is this this hatch here that says like open in case of emergency sort of thing, and you see that there are let's see how many of them are there. Okay, so we've got one, and three. Fair enough. You see here in this sort of hatch here, there is one, what looks, you all are used to normal ammunition weapons, or possibly special ammunition, but you can't see Lee. You should be able to.
I can see it.
Yeah, no, she's on the stream. It's just for whatever reason, she's not showing up on.
You can do a quick refresh, and we'll pick up here in a second. With this hatch opening, there is. Yeah, I'll just wait for Angela to reconnect so that she can hear what I'm saying. There we go. Perfect. In this hatch, there are. You're used to normal ammunition weapons. This looks like some sort of pistol that, like, let's see, which one of you? I think, yeah, Opera, make a tech check for me. I'm going to say not security systems. This is going to be...
Weapons tech is a tech skill.
Yes, that. Weapons tech, please.
Make sure I'm rolling it right. So I think I still need to add... so this one I need to add 2 for my... I'm adding +4 total, 2 for my tech scanner and 2 for my roll ability. So I'm adding a +4 custom modifier. Oof.
Ooh, okay. A 13. With a 13, yes, for those who either missed episode 1 or a quick refresher, in this D10 system, which is Cyberpunk RED functions on D10 system, if you roll a 1, that is a, it says, like, crit fail, may not necessarily actually fail, but if you roll a 1 on that d10, you roll again and subtract the second number from your score. The 1 still counts, but in this case, it is a -6. Opposite happens with a d10. You roll a 10, you've got 10, and then you roll another one and add that result. It does not explode, so if you roll 2 1s in a row or 2 10s, it doesn't keep going. With a 13, this was going to be a tougher DV here. 13 is not going to be... What you are able to gather is that this clearly seems like you don't see a slot for like a magazine or anything. Instead, there is some sort of like slot in the back. The best you're able to tell is that this is some sort of like electronically powered pistol rather than ammunition, but that's about as much as you're able to gather at this moment. The other thing that you are able to pick up, keeping this 13 going here.
Must we?
There we go. Sorry, I missed that. Cool. The other thing that you're able to pick up is that there are 3. So there's one of those sort of pistols, and there are 3 what look like some old, like armor vests here.
Ooh.
Strangely enough, they don't seem like heavily plated. They're almost like shiny. Kind of that sort of reflective material off of a safety vest or some rave clothing. You know, take your pick.
Don't kill me, orange.
Yeah. And there are 3 of those. Those? I'm going to roll a D100.
Always love the D percentile. Hey!
Ooh, okay. Okay. These are... There's this sort of like what looks like a green label on both of the weapon and the armor.
Neat. Well, so Opera, not really knowing what the pistol is, but intrigued by any technology he doesn't recognize, will go ahead and tuck it into his bag, and he'll turn to his friend and say, "Good news! The likelihood that we are in some kind of antagonistic simulation has decreased by a material percentage. It appears that this computer is not engaged in acausal bargaining, and therefore we can be confident it is not a basilisk. I shall begin to prepare a Faraday device to contain its core, and you may finish asking it whatever questions you may have of our good friend Billy's big mouth computer." And I'm going to pop down on my knees, open my tool case, and start creating a Faraday cage.
Love it.
I would say you, as a tech, you do have materials to make a Faraday cage of like decent size. There are 8 very large servers around this room.
I for whatever piece of the computer we take with us is the idea.
Oh, I see.
No, I'm not trying to build a Faraday like airplane hangar. I'm trying to build something we can safely put potatoes in.
Okay. I would say then for
Very large potatoes.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of we're trying to put Billy Bass into a potato. That's like our mission lingo.
Opera is reflexively dismissive of any technology he does not immediately understand because he assumes that it was just built wrong.
I love that so much.
I'm going to say, Opera, make an electronics and security tech roll for me here real quick. Actually, before that, make a perception check for me, Opera.
Oh boy. One of the skills I'm not good at.
I will give you, make the DV a little bit lower for you since you generally know your way around tech. Okay. With that, I'm going to say you identify what looks like a... Actually, you tell me. What kind of technology are you poking around here for? I know you said you're looking for the Billy Bass hard drive to stick into a potato and so on and so forth, but a little bit more specifically.
Was that the disconnect
Yeah,
sound?
we're
Yeah, that's a
disconnected.
reconnect. Okay, let's restart with the question. Opera, what specifically are you looking for?
So Opera doesn't really trust this thing. He doesn't really, think all that highly of it. He's done a lot of salvaging, on the beaches outside of the city. So he's found a lot of worrying gadgets and gizmos that have begged for their life before he took them apart. So he is mostly trying to establish how dangerous it potentially is, which is why he's establishing, like, does it have access to the internet? No? Okay, that makes it safer to take out of here. Is it potentially like a Turing complete or a basilisk, which is a fancy computer nerd thing that don't look into it. It's for crazy people. But he's essentially running down the list of like doomsday scenarios this could start, just like as a standard checklist in the cyberpunk future. And having established that this doesn't appear to be in like the top 5 things that will cause the robot apocalypse, he's prepared to just take it home as an interesting gewgaw and then bring back something expensive to give to the gardener and claim his paycheck.
Okay.
Not in the top 5 because it's number 6.
I think that could be. Opera is only mostly man.
Got it. I would say that at least at current, with what you're with the checks that you have already done with perception and weapons tech, there does not appear to be an immediate major threat that it poses. Certainly not to the island. It has mentioned that it has other sort of nodes, other servers at other locations around the island that it has trouble establishing connection with. That it has been asking you to help reestablish some of those connections in return for access to more technology, like rewards for you. That the cloning facility, it seems like it will have increased power to, like, increased capability and power to, which, like, if something happened to one of y'all, and y'all sort of had your genetic code uploaded into those tubes, it seems like you could come back.
Then Opera feels like he's done his due diligence and he's now happy to do the standard strip it for parts, but keep the consciousness together if he can. And if you would like, I can make the electronics and security tech roll.
Yeah, with this perception check, I'm going to say, it's difficult. The wiring here is vastly different from what you are used to. There does seem to be some reflections of technology that you've run in before on other salvage missions, but this is in a different class from what you run up to. But with a 14, you do identify something that looks like it could be objectively valuable to sell. Just some like old. Let's see, with a 14, you get. We're running up to the limits of like Jonathan's hardware knowledge. We don't have to. If there is something specific you want to say that I may or may not approve, you find maybe not like the core motherboard of this computer here, but you do find something that at least seems valuable enough that it may be good enough for the gardener. So between that as well as the weapons and armor that were opened in the hatch, between those, it does seem as if this may be enough to satisfy the gardener.
Whatever it is, I hold up some unidentifiable gizmo and say, "Neato! Now I don't have to strip it for the copper."
Yeah. It says fax on it. What the hell is this?
It's making this awful noise, like dee-doom, dee-doom, da.
Wait. No, sorry, excuse me. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, it's a fax machine.
That is a fax machine. You have come across one of these ever
My
before.
goodness. Now that I have
Museum.
two, they actually do something.
Have you just been faxing into the void?
Then you fax into the void faxes into you.
Hey man, I don't want to judge how you spend your time, but you might need better hobbies. But also just a little reminder here that this technology that we are taking back, to Mr. Rosenmaker. As charming of a fella as he is, he's, I believe, planning to take this up to that rich hoity-toity floating island thing, right? That, I mean, I don't frankly care what happens to them up there in so much. The only thing I do care about is in so much as it affects us down where we are. But I'm just saying there's probably a reason this was down here and deactivated. Look, I want my money. I just want it on the record that I'm feeling a little unsure about this situation. I feel like we are taking I feel like Billy Bass is going to come back and bite us in the ass. But
Yeah.
I'm also down for a little ass
I
play.
have
So, you know.
I have no mouth, so I cannot bite.
I think I read
You
that
sassy.
story.
I
Good
like
point.
it. You're sassy, Billy Bass.
Hey, Graf. Who hired Linux? Who was he working for?
He sort of looks to the side a little bit. What I want you to do is please make a human perception check for me, please. This is functionally insight for folks at home. Okay. I will open this up to, I think, Opera, you're busy, but Patch and Bo, if you would like to also roll human perception here.
Perception. I see regular perception. Is there a different perception?
Yeah, human
I see
perception.
it. Yeah, okay.
Where is?
It's
under-
under social skills.
So that's 12. Is that right?
12, sorry.
Yeah.
Bring something up here real quick.
Wait, I should have.
Okay, so we've got a 7, 12, and 18. Okay.
I've got a mod of 2, so I feel like that should be. Oh, wait, it's fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's in there. So it was 2 plus empathy, 6 human perception, 2. Oh, I see. The extra mod for 2 on the robot. I'm guessing that's from one of your items here.
Yeah.
So
It's probably from. Yeah, it must have been from like a fashion or something thing that I added later.
Could be
Yeah,
a roll
that-
skill since you're a people person.
Oh yeah, that might also be the case here. Thankfully, that is one of the reasons why I wanted to do Foundry is because it takes care of a lot of these behind the scenes number crunching. So it's like, I don't know where this is coming from exactly, but I believe it. So we could go into active effects on your character sheet and see where it's coming from, but I'm not that overly concerned with a 2 here.
Oh, I see.
So-
it now. Okay, it is correct. Sorry, you're good. I figured it out.
So Graf here, he just sort of has always like, look, man, I told you everything I know. Like, we were hiring for a job, and that's it. That's it. Lennox didn't tell us anything else. And yeah, seems like he's telling the truth, except for Patch. It's slight, but given your focus on people rather than technology, there is just like the slightest. There was an eye flick there at the beginning that you caught that seems like he is not being entirely forthcoming. Forthright.
So I'll get closer and sort of crouch in front of him. Hi. So you know your friend there that I just helped patch up? I can also do the opposite of that. So you might want to be a little more forthright. with my friend
Cool.
here.
Go ahead and roll an interrogation check for me. This is going to you are
That'll
going to
go
get
over
some
well.
benefit. Yeah, you are going to get some additional mental. I'm going to mentally add something, lower the DV a bit because yeah, y'all definitely have the upper hand here.
So interrogation?
Yeah.
Ah, wow, that's really bad.
I'm gonna say I know Cyberpunk doesn't normally have this this mechanic, but I like it in this case. So roll with advantage. So roll again. We'll take the higher.
Okay.
Okay. Look. Okay. With a 7 here, there's a little bit more hemming and hawing, but he does look over at Ember. It seems like he is weighing some pros and cons here as he looks over at Ember and saying, look, I mean, I'm not besties with this guy, but well, if I say anything, promise that y'all won't end up like Ember. Yeah? Like this was just a job to me. I get it. No hard feelings. Just please don't kill me.
I can promise you I won't kill you.
You see his eyes slowly pan over to the rest of you.
Opera's just in the back, like going to town with a hammer on like the thing. Like,
I don't know. I can look over and just be like, "Look, I'm not gonna kill you as long as you come back and spend money at the Neon Garden. But look, you better go and just cough up that information for our friend here, because then we can get home a lot faster. And I won't kill you, but I might tickle you a little bit just to get the rest of that information, unless you're gonna just talk to us."
All right. Jeez. Jather. That's all I know. Jather is the name of the guy who talked and hired to Lennox. That's all I know. Bo, I would like you to roll a concentration check here. Concentration? Yeah. The like, if you can remember something.
Concentration. So many skills. Okay, what? If anybody sees what it's under, let me know.
It should be under intelligence. Like one of the intelligence skills.
Oof.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That name you don't recall that name.
Does that name have any meaning for me?
Pixie, I'm also going to say roll a concentration check for me. You read my mind because I was legitimately going to ask you here. A 17. So yeah, Bo, you're like, maybe you could dig around and find something on this Jather guy. Pixie, you think for a moment and it rings a bell. You know that Lennox was involved with the job that where your family got double-crossed. You're struggling to remember exactly, but you do remember that name Jather coming up in conversation during that job. He is somehow connected to what happened with your family.
What were you supposed to do with this tech after leaving here?
Like I said, our They didn't give us any details. I didn't ask. They said just, blow up whatever is down here. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say no checks on this one. Just a possibility that occurs to you all, or do you all, some of you, whoever is talking to Graph here. It is it's very common for groups of teams to go out and try and salvage tech all over the island. Like, that's pretty usual. Going to specifically to blow things up or like disable, destroy, what have you, that is not a usual thing. It is quite unusual. And it's not a guarantee, but there is one organization, a faction here on this island that seems like it could potentially have a hand in this. Especially, Pixie, you especially have this inkling. A faction known as the Gainsaid. They are... So there are... Patch, you would know. You may not be like fully a part of this faction, but you have known some of them, given your aversion to technology. There's a faction known as the Naturalists, who they believe in abstaining from the integration of body and technology when possible. They are not combative against those who do, but simply choose to issue it themselves. They are a little bit more acceptable of the integration of technology if it is life-saving, specifically. And there are a smattering of small communities of naturalists across Cove. But the Gainsaid, they are a radicalized offshoot of the naturalist movement, functionally eco-terrorists. So if, again, you don't know for sure, but this does smell a little bit like Gainsaid operations trying to like destroy major technology.
Okay. And is Patch the only one that would have knowledge of this, or would the others also know who the naturalists are?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. These there are a number of factions here across the island. Opera, you are involved with the Technohemians. That's one faction here. Pixie, you are part of the Nomads. Of course, it's not only your role, but there are the Nomads of scavengers, supply runners, transporters, sometimes smugglers. They are the most mobile group on the island. But do we actually... Sorry, I just see that the feed went black. Do we still have an Ash? Oh, nope. We lost an Ashley. Need to refresh. There we go.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry. Something went wrong with my Wi-Fi.
No worries. I have no idea what that's like.
Issues, those never happen.
Yeah. So then... Not... Let's see. So just recapping a couple seconds here. So yeah. Opera is part of the Technohemians. Pixie, you are part of the Nomad.
You got this, Jonathan. We believe in you.
And they were reconnected. Perfect. So yeah, part of these Nomads, loose collective and like chosen family versus like a structured hierarchy by any means. All of you know about the existence of the Gainsaid. So if this occurs as a possibility to the lot of you, I would say, Patch, you are just slightly, perhaps more inclined to think about that just because of your connection. I will leave that up to you, like how involved or connected you are with the Naturalists, but I would say that you're at least somewhat so because of your beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that she's at least on relatively friendly terms with the non-aggressive terrorist factions.
Yeah, and Pixie, I'm trying to think like how much information that you would have. Okay, here's what I'll give you. You don't have all the information on who betrayed your who betrayed your family. That's part of the mystery here. You have perhaps a mental list of suspects. The Gainstead are on the list of potential suspects, given that the nomads are heavily connected to technology and its spread. It could have been them, or it could have been like some other rival faction. You don't know.
Oh,
Have I had
mean,
any run-ins with... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
You go first.
I was going to ask if I had any run-ins with, in any sort of the inter-faction relations or trading. Would I have worked with the Gainstead ever? Or they tend to... I mean, they don't trade technology, I guess, but never really. Okay.
You might have, like, had some connections, jobs, like some sort of fringe contact with them, more like as a victim, if anything, rather than like a collaborator by any means. The Gainstead are they are extremists, so it's, from what I understand of like what you established with the Neon Garden, you have taken great pains to make it a neutral ground.
Mm-hmm.
So far, that has mostly been respected by at least the Gainstead.
Okay. But as far as I know of like their numbers, like, do I know how many people? No? Okay.
No.
Roger that.
Well, that would explain at least a little as to why they wanted to blow the computer up. I mean, yes, it is a bit suspect. It's just
So our
it's
options,
a bit odd.
our options at the moment are seemingly to take this stuff with us and kind of think on it. We can turn in some of the technology for the paycheck, but we still have kind of the question of, this seems bigger than us. Maybe. I guess all that is to say, I'm not really sure what our options are fully, other than just to take this thing that Opera over there is fiddling with, take it back up, turn it in, and get the money. And not worry about repercussions until we have to, if there are any. Or we could turn in the thing and then try to work with this computer to find the other locations and have access to this cloning technology, potentially. However, okay, side question. Is the idea of cloning parts and people and all of that, is that an unusual thought for us, or is that kind of just like a Tuesday?
That is unusual. There is augmentation, replacement, like all sorts of cyber tech, but like straight up cloning is not.
Okay. And what the computer is kind of saying it can do is, if somebody were to die or whatever, or get severely hurt, if we uploaded their brain basically to this machine, it would create another them and input all of the thoughts and everything from their brain into this new clone?
Yes.
Okay.
But would it transfer their soul?
The whole right. Well,
now
that's
we're
a whole
getting into
other
deep
question of
questions.
morality.
Yeah.
I'm still over here trying to figure out, if you replace all the parts of a ship, is it still the same ship argument? I'm not worried about if the ship has a soul yet.
Damn it, Theseus. Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So whatever we're doing, I say we get out of here. Let's take how's Billy Bass and the potato coming along, Opera?
Well, I have been working over here to create a device that can contain it. So, of course, I took some annealed copper and I created a dense wire mesh that should block most electromagnetic radiation going in or out. And I bedazzled it. And I hold up a football-sized case of copper mesh that has been horrifically defaced, one might even say, with rhinestones.
Opera,
That is
you get
surprisingly
better.
impressive.
So good.
Beautiful.
You get better every mission. I swear. You really got to open up like a cyber Etsy shop or something.
You would be surprised. Nobody is into my brand of kitsch yet.
Oh, we'll find somebody.
I call it pre-nostalgia. Nostalgia for things you've never seen before.
Oh, I love it. Look,
Yeah.
I got some folks, some dancers back at the Neon Garden. I'm just saying, you and them need to talk. Because what you do with dazzling things is amazing.
I do like a teeny little like shoulder bow.
I feel like I've seen something on the internet, like there's some, I don't know if, probably not in English, but like a word for nostalgia of things that you haven't seen yet. I feel like there's a German word for it, because there's a German word for everything, but
it's either German or I think there's also something like that in Japanese.
Or Japanese, yeah. I feel like I've seen, anyways.
I'm just imagining he makes things like that look like you will discover them in a future grandmother's attic.
I love that.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay.
You're able to,
so you're able to, Faraday cage to the best of your ability. This sort of what looks the fax machine and some of the connections there. As far as being, just confirming that y'all do want to have friend computer here, like in at least limited capacity on your agents.
I want to have like some sort of virtual private network set up or something. I don't really want him to be able to access the rest of my information.
Well, that's the idea behind the cage, is that essentially if we're close to it, we can hear it, because like they're not perfect unless they're literally just a shell. So it allows us to be like, we're taking precautions, but also narratively we can still have conversations.
Yeah, the VPN, Cord VPN. I would think possibly Opera, but definitely Bo and Pixie. I feel like Opera, you're more sort of like hardware and actual tech. Bo and Pixie, I would feel like you would have experience with creating some sort of like software black box to stick information in. Pixie with your smuggling background, and Bo just, making sure you maintain privacy for your various clients.
I have a built-in scrambler, descrambler, so I can always, at a moment's notice, kind of scramble any of my communications. I assume I just naturally do all of that to all of my stuff on my phone anyway, and I've got a burner phone too. I'm a shady. I got a shady side.
Awesome. So then, yes, especially like you've got that scrambler, descrambler. I'm fine like narratively using that sort of technology to put them in like in a little virtual box, or put them in a virtual box that you don't think they should not have access to the rest of your agents here. As you sort of place it on the counter there. I would say that Opera, it does take a little bit of finagling to find some sort of valid connection, a little bit of hot wiring here to establish that connection, at least the wireless, or not wireless, because as you pull out these agents, what are, yes, of course, advancements in technology. Given my limited capacity, I think that this is doable if I'm simply able to make an initial primary connection. You're able to rig this up, make sure that the connection stays safe, and then... yes, I see. Okay, so they evolved... Got it. Understood. And there is a... on your agent there, and there in the box that you have set up for it is a little, well, to me, I think it's fun to have like a little app icon there, a little square. It looks like this eye that is up on the, as you can see from James here, Spider JJ, excuse me, the little computer there in the chat, that's sort of what the app button looks like. Just this eye here. And after that blip for the hard connection, there is Bo, you're able to sort of set up similar boxes, containment boxes on other folks' agents, and after that first hard connection, bloop, 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 it appears in the other set boxes ready to accept it.
Look, guys, just make sure to scroll. You can just scroll through the kind of user agreement thing. I know it's like 400 pages long. Just hit accept. It's fine.
I
trust
there
you
are ads on
implicitly.
this thing. I'm uninstalling it.
Yeah.
Great. So, are we set to roll? Are you good, computer friend? We're just gonna have to kind of leave, I think, a lot of this other stuff here for now. Are you cool with that?
This is acceptable.
Cool. Is there anybody else who you know of that might want to know that you are working again? Like a was there anybody of a human variety that you worked with maybe 100 years ago?
There is accessing
There's a moment where you hear
accessing databases. There is one who remained. They are... My last record of them was at one of my other complexes. It will take some time to locate it.
All right. Well, you work on that. We'll see. If you think of where these other complexes might be, you can just let us know that. Also, you mentioned something about a RED security clearance that you needed to get a different... Hold on, where is it? You need a registry for clearance, or you have a registry for clearance, but it's been corrupted, or it's currently in red mode.
yes. There is a sort of like another moment of accessing the database.
Yes, I am currently at the lowest level of clearance. Red. If you are able to re-establish my connections, I can increase my clearance and therefore my capabilities to aid you in happiness all the way up through orange to yellow to green up to ultraviolet. That is the top clearance that I wish to re-establish. Why the
That's what you had before?
Yes. Yes, as the admin of this system, I do find it a bit irksome that somehow I am denied admin privileges to my own system, but, well, that is...
This is Jonathan struggling for words.
But that is the situation.
Yes, Val. You're perfect just the way you are. Let's go. I'm like carrying a fax machine on my back.
So, Upper, we're not going to talk about the complete 180 you did from when you first got here and said that this thing wasn't to be trusted.
No, I'm just now. I have decided it is in fact totally unremarkable through all of my. So I've not turned around. I've just been like, all right, first hold on, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a children's toy or something. But the real treasure is the fax machine.
Oh, yeah.
The fax machine changed everything. Got it.
Listen, facts don't care about your feelings.
Can't argue with that, mainly because I don't understand it. So, ready when you are.
While we're walking back, can I hold up the actually on our way back out up the elevator or whatever, can we stop at the sign that had the blank 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 clearance required
Mm-hmm.
thing, just kind of hold up the front computer to it and just be like, hey man, you know what this is? You know what this is trying to say, maybe?
Yes, originally.
In the future, I think I will come up with a sort of like custom voice mod to indicate like a little bit of that crackly on your agent sort of things. But so that sign was actually at the top of the elevator shaft. I am going to answer that question, but just to get everyone in on it, so y'all are good to go back. I will say that Pixie, if you are not using the technology here to fix your arm right now, Patch, you are going to be able to help Pixie out here, but you will the facilities required to do so are going to be back at Echo Center. If
Yeah,
you are
it
able to
sounds
sort
like-
of stabilize things until you can do that, but we can, yeah, you can fix that up later.
Yeah, because
Oh.
it sounds like the machine that friend computer has in mind won't just restore the arm, but is literally an entire different person, or the same person in a different body. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yeah, that is its potential, and like its original design is like full new clone. As far as like restoring an arm, it says it can try to like do that instead. It's not what it was designed for, so it's possible, but yeah.
Yeah, I would not recommend it, Pixie, but it's your choice. If you want to go for it, I will give it the old college try.
Well, you're the expert here, so I'll defer to you. But as long as I can drive us home, we'll be good.
Yeah, you'll have to do it the old-fashioned manual way with one arm, but hopefully the fog, the mist has moved on by now, and you'll have a slightly easier time. That said, even with that, like it may take a little bit longer, but you're still confident enough in your driving skills that you'll be able to get yourselves back. And Opera, I'm not going to lock this behind a roll because it's like, well, shit, now what do we do? But yeah, so you're able to jury rig the elevator enough to sort of at least actually just for fun, go ahead and make a I guess this would
So
This is
techs
more like
have a roll ability
oh yes,
that
you're
allows me
fixing
to do
things.
field repairs.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
And
information
yeah,
is more
you
cleanly
did
available.
you use that for like getting the emergency break in there, but if you will go ahead and roll one of those.
Yep. So I can use this to do a full repair with the
Cool.
field expertise ability. So would you call this a basic tech roll?
Yes. This is an
Great.
elevator, so yes, this would be basic tech.
So then this is going to be 8 for my tech, 6 for my skill value, 2 for the tech scanner, and another 2 for my roll ability. So that's going to be an 18 modifier.
Okay.
21.
21. Yeah. With a 21. Thankfully,
I'm
you've
very
already
good at advancing.
Yeah. You are able to fix this thing up, and even enough for most to pass most of the quotient of regulation. So yeah, you're able to get this elevator back in functioning order, at least enough to get y'all back up to the surface.
I'm fixing it. I installed a rave setting.
I like to imagine that if he had failed, like it's not that the elevator's at the bottom level. We all step in and we just keep falling again.
All right, we're going. Awesome.
Ah, darn it! I turned it into a drop tower.
Yeah, new
Dang
turned
it,
into the
Opry.
Tower of Terror.
Yeah, you gotta quit putting it on Tower of Terror setting.
Awesome.
Are we gonna
then
leave
last-
these?
We took him to
Are we gonna
Disneyland
leave
one
these
time.
losers here?
Yeah, what are y'all doing with Emperor and Graf?
Oh, Patch,
I
you need
think-
parts.
I don't know if you want those,
I mean-
but is Ember beyond saving?
No. It will. if you want to restore him to like full functionality, Patch, you would need to do I believe you need to do some like surgery work on him. It takes some major work. If you just want to get him up and running so he can handle himself.
Yeah, just make sure he
yeah.
doesn't die. I mean, he did try to kill us, so fuck him.
Fair. Yeah.
He's breathing, that's all that counts.
Turnabout is, fair play. He tried to kill you first. Okay. Then, yeah. I'm not going to worry too much about fixing them up so they don't die like conscious, able to walk if extremely painfully. As far as what, do you want to just release them back into the wild? Once you sort of get back, what are you going to do with them?
I mean, I'm kind of fine just leaving them down here, letting them fend for themselves, but...
I don't know if I want to leave them down here. I
With
feel
an
like
all-powerful computer.
And
Like,
the
other
express goal of destroying it forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why
we can
don't
take all their gear.
I have an idea? Why don't we just get them back to the Neon Garden? And my thought is maybe we just get them to drink so much they just kind of forget what happened today.
Done.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is my car only holds 4 people.
How do you?
Well,
Oh no!
Oh, no.
All right, we're back.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, Graf, you good at skateboarding? You know how to hitch? You know how to, where you grab onto the back of a truck and you just kind of skateboard?
Yeah, you see him just... I think I see where you're going with this. Yeah, I'll do my best.
We can
and
always
you'll
tie
do
into
it
the
while
roof.
holding my fax machine.
You see, like, the meme of the woman with, like, all the formulas sorted around. And, as, like, this big, heavy fax machine also, like, holding on to something that's dragging him. He's like, well, if I can try?
How about, for gameplay reasons, it can only carry 4... Is that just because you only have 4 seats, or is it just, like...
Correct. There's only 4 seats.
Only 4 seats. I'm not going to get too hung up on getting him back. If you want to strap him to the top, the front, the bike rack, just drag him along behind
There's
in the
a
improvised
trunk.
skateboard sidecar, then that is fine with me. Or you can make him walk, like, either way.
I do have a smuggling compartment, so...
Why don't we put Ember in the
Shove
smuggling
him there.
compartment, and Graf, you can ride on my lap.
Perfect. Okay.
Great.
You
Ember,
see he gets a little red in the face, but just nods.
I can just scoop Ember's unconscious body up. I don't know if there are any specific rules on carrying
Ember's
capacity,
back up.
but
Right?
I am...
Yeah.
I am absolutely fine with just, like, narratively, you're a big, beefy cyber person,
I'm
you're
like
able to scoop it fine.
40% forklift.
Yeah, you go gadget
That's right,
forklift
because
and you're able to
you've
get it back.
replaced a lot of your...
I have
Yeah.
Borg wear. I look like a robot man.
Yeah, I'm more
right.
like concerned with like narratively what y'all want to do. So you're like bring him back to the Neon Garden and then like figure out the rest of that. Absolutely. Okay. Then
So-
yes, you're able to go up the elevator, back up the elevator, and whoop, change over to there. I will say you hold up friend computer potato there on your agent up to I'll say whenever for now, like whenever you want to speak with them or like ask them, like show them the thing like camera, if you open that app on your agent, you'll be able to like have that open communication. And you hold up your camera to that sign, and you hear
Yes. There was very strict access to my core reserved for those with ultraviolet clearance.
so
buddies,
it
this
appeared that
reverb is going to destroy my phone speakers. They're not made for that. Can you That's a joke. Opera is still just kind of ornery about this thing.
How is this? Is this better? I have turned down the quality settings on my voice.
Hey,
I
man.
appreciate that, but I imagine that the audience would prefer a clearer voice.
Oh, and
Also, apparently Opera gets more Swedish when he gets frazzled.
You know, you've got the dialect module there. It's fun to play with.
He gets so mad he switches countries.
Sweet. So with that, you get back in the car and you're headed back to Echo Center, and I think that is a nice little break time stopping point. We are going to take a quick break here before we hit the city, hit Echo Center, because there are a few threads to pull on here, a few things to get into here. So see y'all back here in a few minutes.
Opera's
Yes.
Swedish cousin, Ingeborg.
Yep. And welcome back, everybody, back from break. So, you have recovered at least some. You have recovered some tech. What you decide to do with it from here is going to be an interesting decision to make. But as you start loading up the old jalopy there with all of your people and things, and sticking Ember into the smuggling compartment, which is, I'd say, just big enough to cram him in there. It's exacerbating injuries. Yeah, it's fine. And
Some
then
broken ribs make him collapsible.
exactly so. And you, through whichever chosen method, make sure that Graph can follow along as well. You hightail it back towards Echo Center. Once you reach topside as well and come out of the center back into the junkyard, there is a blip on your phone. Let's see. Do I have a blip? It's fine. I thought I did. Anywho, with the there's a blip on your phone here, Bo, and it is from the gardener, and all it says is status update.
I'll text back and say, everything's hunky-dory on our way back. Got what you need.
You get a response. Just says, good. Meet you, be at the Neon Garden.
I always am. You don't have to be so coy, Mr. Rosenmaker.
You don't get a response after that. Okay, so you roll. Oh, fun bit as well. For y'all, I have shared. Where is it? There is in the journal tab. Boop. Show to all players. Awesome. This is the car there, Pixie. Thanks to Uncanny Knack for this particular graphic here. But yes, this is Pixie's car. That good old jalopy there. Let's see, make sure. Oh, it would probably help for the stream if I. There we go. So there is Pixie's car there. The
Are you
buggy.
gonna name it?
Damn, that's
Nice.
it's not
She's
be like
cute.
shit. It's the jalopy in Mad Max world, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't fly, so therefore it's a jalopy. Yeah, Pixie, if you would like to name it now or think about it for a while and come back to that later, you can 100% name it. It is your car, after all.
I'm gonna name her
Oh.
Bug.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Name Bug? Absolutely. So let me. I'll make a note of that. Bug. There There we go. Changed for you right over there. Thank you, Broberon, for the subscription. Fantastic. Thank you so very much for that. Glad to have you on board and subscribed. Heading back to the city. I'm going to turn on the city noise. So now we can get a little bit better sense of Echo Center at large. Echo Center is underground. There is this, of course, there is Ikronia, the floating vacation city, essentially, well overhead, only accessible by airship to the well-to-do, the well-connected, and the rich. Echo Center, on the other hand, the Galakites. So the primary residents of Ikronia are people from New Gallic, the major city of Asugbo, the southeastern continent of Quelmar. They look down on those who are like even deign to acknowledge your presence. They do look down on the quote unquote grounded, those who live on the island itself. But right back, those of Echo Center refer to the Galakites as idiots because they're in Ikronia. Awesome. So it is underground. There is sort of this sort of jutting bunker-like vault door that thrusts up that you're able to drive into, and there is, of course, the usual sort of guard posts there. Nothing is on high alert. It's more just like you're not rolling in with an active tank. Like, yeah, you're good. Security is, or you're not like one of the gainsaid rolling in with an army. It's there, but you have no trouble getting inside. As you drive into it, going down into the earth, it opens up and you see Echo Center at large. You see it is pretty densely packed. There is, of course, no sky here. It is this large dome here that encompasses everything. All these buildings and tightly packed streets. There is, it is not, millions and millions of people sort of thing going on, but a decent chunk of population here. It is the largest settlement on the island of Kof. Largest active population-wise settlement, as far as you know, the biggest sort of area in technology. But yes, there are few. There's no true airships down here. One, there's not really room, need, or money to do so. But there are a couple kind of like hover bike sort of things, some like the functional equivalent of like scooters or Vespas. But by and large, people travel by foot. There are a few sort of railway trains that go around. I was trying to look for a nice copyright-free image of the city, but somewhat in the difficulty of that, I was like, you know what? We can just imagine it. Theater of the mind, as well as I'm not going to tell you all how to imagine this city. That being said, there is, of course, your typical there is darkness. There are artificial lights to sort of simulate a day and night cycle. It is basically fluorescence or less fluorescent light. Neon light is everywhere, advertising every little thing, everyone trying to make a living. That being said, you drive on down. I would say yes, there is specifically a garage that you have good connections with there, Pixie, to park the car, make sure that nobody will mess with it. I would say that there is a fellow nomad who runs this garage. Y'all know vehicles best. This particular nomad is named. See, this is why I created a document that has all the names. Let's see. I say all the names, like a bunch of potential names, so I don't have to use fantasy name generator every time. I did it ahead of time. Oh, just this. That's perfect. Maverick, Mavrek, is the person running this.
Poor chap, he lost an E in the war.
Maverick, yes, he used to be Maverick. As you pull in, nods at you. Oh, this is quite the party you got driving in here, Pixie. Any also looks down at your arm. You all right there?
Hey, Mav. Yeah, we're all right.
Hey, Pixie. All right, well, as long as you got someone to patch you up there, I mean, we can find somebody, our usual doc, if you need him.
That would be nice.
All right.
What,
Sure, I can.
anything happening in the city that we need to know about?
No, I mean, just the usual stuff. Things are mostly quiet around here. Not since, well, not since the whole thing with your, with you. Remind me, and I'm going to write down so I don't have to ask again. Last time, I remember you mentioned a name, I think, for your magic act, Pixie. Like, if it was your family name, what was the name that you gave to your magic act?
It was just the Margot Magic Act.
Margot. Okay. All right, just wrote that down. So yeah, things been pretty quiet. Well, since the whole. Well, I don't have to tell you nothing about that. I'm still keeping an eye out, see if I hear anything. Try and help out there. I mean, you don't mess with the. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, but still looking.
Sure do appreciate that, Mav.
Yeah.
Got a space for us here?
Of course I do. Yeah, you can squeeze in just over there, and he, points out a spot for you. Now I'm not sure. Did you want to hang on to? And points to whatever sort of contraption you did to pull a long graph. Did you want to hang on to that, or?
We'll be taking him with us.
All right. If you say so. And he doesn't bat an eye when you pull out Ember from from the smuggling compartment. He's just like, yep, another day.
As we leave, I'm just gonna wave to him with my detached arm.
He sort of raises an eyebrow and just he starts to wave back and then waves with an elbow.
Now, Pixie, I know Patch offered to put you back together, but we can talk options. I'm thinking pink running lights, subwoofer.
Oh. Really?
I'm kind of attached to my arm. I mean, not right now, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I think we'll just stick with this one.
Well, Pixie Classic never goes out of style.
It's very true.
RBG arm, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say let's head back to the Neon Garden first, just to go with that and there. Then we just sort of spread out there. Then we can potentially pop over to patch your digs or wherever it is that you have your most equipment to help fix Pixie up. And yes, I think once those two scenes I definitely have in mind. If there is anything else that you want to get up to in the city, especially once you get, I do want to make sure that you get paid first. That's part of it. And so then if there is any sort of scenes or shopping that y'all would like to do in the city, now would be a decent time to handle that. So first things first, y'all head back to the Neon Garden. I think I've got a decent.
Yeah, sorry I never got you art for that. I tried one of those AI art generators, and I couldn't quite get what I wanted. So I got kind of close, but it looked a little janky.
I feel your
that
pain.
is a-okay. Meantime, yeah, I don't have an image. Again, I say AI generator, copyright, whatnot. Want to make sure I am doing things right here. So I don't have an image for the Neon Garden. Also, because Neon Garden is functionally yours. So I don't want to step on a toast. But I've got
It's all
a
good.
little bit of music here.
I don't know if I ever established this I think I mentioned it when we were like initially introducing ourselves, but there is sort of a like co-runner, leader of the Neon Garden, like someone who, so that we can always have somebody on there that knows all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Also back character in case I die. But
Yeah.
but
Works for me.
I just for her code name, or not code name, what do you call it? Your handle is Iris, IRIS. And she has like a cybernetic eye, so it's a little on the nose, but or on the eye,
She
I
has
guess.
a cybernetic eye in her nose.
Yeah. It's her third eye, yeah.
Yeah.
No. That's all I have for her at the moment, but that's kind of the.
No, that is awesome.
Just because it
this
wouldn't totally make sense for like the head of this whole, or like the person that leads this place to leave it unattended. So I figured that would be.
Oh yeah, that super makes sense. Like you go wheeling, dealing jobs, like plenty of stuff. So yeah, you've got this essentially a manager to mind the store while you're away. Iris here. We don't have to necessarily belabor the point, but any like, since this is a potential backup character for you, any sort of just broad personality brush strokes here that I can run with here, just like quick exchange.
I think she is. We'll just say for ease. I mean, she is they're pretty much peas in a pod. I think they're pretty.
Love that.
She's still very snarky, but in not quite as like maybe not quite as like cheeky of a way. Like she's very blunt about it, but she definitely is a little like yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with her. I don't want to give her anything too much. I don't want to give her too much yet, but you know, feel free to go anywhere you want with her. We can always.
We can always
like
rec on, and yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, as you walk up this sort of gang here, just for ease's sake, are you all cool with y'all sort of going along to the Neon Garden as well, just to like make sure you get paid, and y'all are kind of in the same place for a little bit here? Cool. So you roll up. You're in fine enough shape. Pixie, not so much. As well as, of course, Ember and Graf are being kind of drug along with you. And Ember is currently scooped in Opera's arms. Graf is sort of scraped up, but walking behind, perhaps a little bit sheepishly. But you roll up, and Iris is there, fixes you with those special eyes. And well, look what the cat dragged in here. Now I told you, I am surprised to see so many people who have a whole. I know we're not here to judge, but a whole like dismemberment thing, and like looks over at Pixie with a smile. Looks
I
great.
just wink.
She winks back. Anything I should know, or any? Yeah, I did get a ping that Gardener's on their way. If they didn't already talk to you.
Oh, they did. Yeah, no, we're good. I'll take care of Gardner. I have two gentlemen here, though, one of which is, could be better. But I need to ensure that they get a very special treatment here at the garden. So much so that I want them to enjoy themselves so much that they forget all of today. You think that can be arranged?
She gives a knowing smile. Yeah, see, I think that can be arranged.
Fantastic. And I turn back to Ember and Graf. Now, Ember and Graf, I very much encourage you to enjoy this your time at the Neon Garden. It is on the house today. Should you fail to forget everything, there are other things that we can do to ensure that happens, but I'd rather you have a good time and not a bad one. All right?
Yeah. You get a sort of grumbled from Ember. Yeah, like just coughs up a little bit of blood. Meanwhile, Graf, it's like, forget what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh man, I know I liked you, Graf. Good. All right. Y'all have a great time. Leave us 5 stars on Quelp.
Yeah. Of that. So yes, Iris makes sure that Graf and Ember are taken care of well enough, and you go to your private office, your room. Anything you would like? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say we definitely have like, I think as you walk through, there's like a whole series of, if you've ever been to Meow Wolf, like
I want to.
it's kind of that vibe. If you haven't, it's just imagine a complete interactive building where you walk through, like the door to one room is through a refrigerator, or like a washing machine barrel or whatever. It's that kind of setup, but it's like there's definitely like a bookcase door that you have to go through, a series of like winding tunnels. It's very TARDIS-like, I think. And just with a mix of like really good lighting. It's not that huge of a building. I mean, it's big, but it's not insanely big. But it's just the really good use of like essentially stage lighting, misdirection, mirrors, and all of that. That if you don't know your way around or you don't have a guide, it's very easy to get lost.
Yeah.
And it's that way on purpose. But yeah, basically after a whole series of that, you get to just this kind of very kind of mundane, surprisingly mundane looking door that doesn't, it looks like it would go to like a storage closet or something. And then, but next to it is a picture, like a painting that's, and instead of going through the door, you actually go through a hidden door that's next to that one that is behind basically what the painting is kind of disguising. And through there is Beau's office.
Love that. So is there anything beyond the actual door, like that visual door?
I think Beau's office is a mix of like, it's completely organized chaos. Like,
Yeah.
It looks like a tornado, but he knows exactly where everything is.
feel
But there's
that.
also just in the mix of all of this is just, it's like a greenhouse mixed with an office.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if that's possible, I don't know if that makes sense for this area, but
Yeah, that's I would say
he loves plants.
it is unusual to like have some sort of like greenery, but you have enough connections and like going through those paints, it's doable. It's not common, but it's doable.
Maybe
I mean,
that's
it
why
is like a jungled
keeps it-
island after all. So
Maybe that's why he keeps it in his office, because it's like,
yeah,
if it's super rare, then that's maybe the thing he's very protective about.
yeah. Given the jungle nature of the island, it's more like uncommon due to convention rather than like actual access. But for sure, like people would probably, I mean, in the delights that people get up to in the Neon Garden, yeah, they probably would not last long out in the wild there of the Neon Garden for sure. What I was referring to is, so you said like your office is sort of like in a, like not like the obvious door. It's like you said it's to the side. So is there anything behind the obvious door?
The obvious door, I think, just leads out into like a back alleyway or something.
Okay.
Or it's, I don't know. We'll think of something fun. Maybe it changes each time you open it. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I've very much like the idea that like it's convoluted on purpose, very much the casino sort of thing where it is on purpose that there are no clocks or like obvious exits, or you can't tell what time of day it is, so on and so forth. And I think that the garden Rosenmaker there, the gardener, like protested all this, the layout, the architecture here, until you brought that up. It's like, if people can't find the exit, they have to stay and spend more money, and that was enough to sell them on that. Is there anything that you or y'all would like to do before he shows up?
Is there time to fix my arm?
That
was my question too.
Not quite. That's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay.
That is going to be handled. We're about to hit some downtime here, so you will be able to take care of it there.
I will say that whenever we do meet with Mr. Rosenbaum, I will bring, our group back to my office, but I don't know that I would bring him. Like, I think I would meet with him in just a regular meeting room, probably.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of maybe if we want to, I want to, I guess, establish what piece are we giving to, I keep saying Rosenmaker. What piece are we giving to Rosenmaker, and which, we have the fax machine, and then we have Billy, our friend computer, right? Are we giving... So
you've got the fax machine, you've got Billy, the Billy app, the friend computer on your agents. You also have that pistol and the armor.
Are the pistol and armor, like, is that worthy of like the type of technology? Like, is that the type of technology he was talking about? We didn't really have that kind of specification.
Correct. You're not sure whether that was because he didn't know or didn't share with you.
Okay. I also wrote down that we had some sort of grenade. Somebody found a grenade or something.
Yes, the neurotoxin grenade, which you used in the elevator.
That's right. Okay, we used that. Okay, and then, all right. So before we meet with Mr. Rosenmaker, friends, let's get our game plan together. What are we telling him that we saw? Are we telling him that we ran into the bozos out there? Are we giving him anything to keep? What are we not telling him, basically? But let's start with what are we not going to be telling him?
I mean, he paid us for the tech, not information.
Well,
I have a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So it would seem a logical deduction from the rather, shall we say, childishly simple mnemonics that this strange computer has for its security clearances, that these shiny and, shall I say, hideous green jumpsuits are likely associated with the clearance level of a different facility. But if we were to turn over two, not the three, two of these jumpsuits, and to bait the hook and tell him that they will give him access to an as yet undiscovered location, allowing him to circumvent, presumably, the higher levels of security that will be present there. Do you think that might be enough to satisfy this gardener fellow without having to tell him about our little friend Billy here in my ball of doom?
I do apologize. Can you run that by me one more time?
In simple terms, the green jumpsuits, they are presumably associated with the clearance level.
Yes.
If we tell him that there are these complicated clearance-required facilities scattered about this island, and tell him that this is essentially the key to the front door, perhaps that is enough for him to pay us for a job well done.
Now, I believe those jumpsuits had, because they had a green tag on the pistol and the jumpsuits, right? Sorry, out of character.
And as we have learned, red is in fact the lowest level. I had thought that green was perhaps the lowest level, but in fact, if my Roy G. Viv is correct. That makes it the 4th highest clearance level.
Interesting. See, I would have just thought that green was like, these jumpsuits, these hazard suits are good against a certain type of chemical or technology. But that's a good jump. I like that.
Well, we were told that the highest level was ultraviolet, which seems like an arbitrary cutoff. There are many different kinds of radiation above that, but I'm not here to yata on this here computer device.
So, interesting. That opened a whole new realm of possibilities I had not considered.
It's almost like there could be a series of perhaps 7 large, dare I say, almost dungeon-like complexes scattered throughout the island that would create some kind of scaling challenge over a period of months and weeks.
But
It's
what makes you
crazy,
think they're
right?
like a dungeon?
Well, do you not see the inspiration? I am very familiar with dungeons.
Look, man, I know you are. I know what you do on Fridays. But yeah. But anywho, all right. So you're saying we just give him information,
And two, not 3, 2 of the jumpsuits as a token of good faith.
and just tell him like, hey, there's probably more stuff, but it's in other facilities. To which he will probably just hire us to go to those other facilities.
Precisely. And if we want to expedite this, perhaps we could tell him that he had some naturists who were trying to beat him to the punch, and they got there, they wrecked up the place, there wasn't much to scavenge, save for the jumpsuits, and he'd better get the lead out and pay for expedited service for these next dungeons.
I mean, I like the way you think. Patch, Pixie, what y'all think?
I mean, are we the only ones on the payroll, though, or are we going to have some competition after this?
I mean, I don't know. There's always a possibility Mr. Rosenmaker has hired out other people, but I've worked with him before. I mean, he's a wily bastard. I don't know. But he knows we do a good job. So if we would like to keep working with him so that, I mean, if we're going to go look at more into this anyway, we might as well get him to pay us to do it.
And for
We'll be
once,
there.
we
My
won't be
thoughts exactly.
overestimating our ability to do this task, because if we have the inside track, Billy knows where all the facilities are.
Oh yeah, we should probably, can we put like Billy on like focus mode or something so he doesn't like pop up or anything while we're having this conversation with Mr. Rosenmaker?
Oh, I put him with the other apps on my phones that I don't want to pop up in company.
Okay, cool. How many of those you got?
Wouldn't want to know.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's for a never have I ever game later. I mean,
Yes,
hey man,
as
like,
as
Go
far as
ahead.
friend Billy Computer here on the app, I have thought about snarky quips from computer coming from your apps, but I did establish and say the precedent that unless you bring up the app, he is not going to butt in. Like that is the sort of safety net app that you set up, is that like so they can't access the rest of your agent, which at least to me implies that they wouldn't be able to sort of like blip themselves until you check. I would say at most they can put like the
they
little
can send
red dot.
notifications.
Yeah,
You
put
have
like a little
7
notification.
unread quips.
Oh
Yes.
my god,
That's perfect.
I'm gonna start writing these down so that with zero context,
I mean,
with
he has
We're
zero
gonna
ability.
context, when you open up,
open it
it'll
up.
be a bunch of quips.
We're going to open it up 3 sessions from now, and it'll say, dismember, more like this member emoji grabbing crotch.
Eggplant emoji.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that was your arm!
What is it? That loads the snappy response tape. Your mother.
Yes. Oh, and he's
Awesome.
basically, it works so well because I mean, at some point I do want to install Billy into an actual Billy Bass if you don't find one
Oh
ever.
my god.
Like,
Oh my God.
I just, at the end of this game, I want that is how Bo, I think, will win the game, is by finding an old Billy Bass and installing it on there.
Mounted
That's
on the
my-
wall of the neon garden.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, okay, small side tangent. I've been running Icewind Dale stuff, and there is a setting, and there's a whole thing that centers around a talking fish on the wall, and it brings me so much joy.
Oh my god.
That's very good. I did not know that. Okay, then, yeah, that is totally fine. So yeah, you can make sure that friend computer potato will not be butting in. And Bo, you said you wanted to like have this meeting privately with the gardener, or
I mean, everyone, I want the whole crew to be there, but just
Okay.
in a, like, my back office is for
Oh, yes,
very,
yes,
very
yes.
specific.
Gotcha. Private room, not private. Got it. Privately.
Yeah.
So, okay, that works for me. You head into this office here, and not long afterward, door opens, and in walks the gardener, aka Shaw Rosenmaker. Well, I paid for snappy work. And just when I was starting to wonder, you came through. So, what did you find?
Like, why did you even doubt us? Come on, Mr. Rosenmaker. We are the best, and we always
Cool.
deliver. So,
I didn't
I'm gonna
get to
let
where I
my-
was without covering all of my bases, but continue.
That's true. That's true. You always are all about that base. I understand. But I'm going to let my associate here, Opera, explain the situation. Opera, are you up for taking it?
Yes. I will do my best. I am more of a technically minded individual, but as you can see by my slightly dinged up exterior and my associates here's temporary detachment, we encountered a little bit of a problem in the carrying out of this mission. It would seem that there was another group of people who were trying to get to this location before us, and my understanding is that they were naturists, even though they were clothed when we encountered them. That being said, they did successfully destroy much of the tech that we found there. For example, the elevator down was completely destroyed, and much of the computer systems were offline in low function mode, a variety of very not so great situations if you're trying to salvage anything. However, we were able to make several discoveries, and I give to you, voila, and I pull out two of the green suits. Herr Gartner, I show you the keys to the kingdom.
What? Ugly vests? What am I looking at here?
Well, if you must know, there's a very complicated and clever classification system at play here. You see, it is based on the manner in which light is refracted through a pyramid. One might almost call it a rainbow. That being said, there are, of course, 7 colors, and one more if you go higher, and there are no more than that. We have green here, you see, and the place we were at was only red. This means that of these facilities, there is one 4 steps of clearance higher. And if you have the right people in the right place at the right time, who knows what treasures they could find there in a place that is even more secure than this great job you had for us.
So what you're saying is you didn't find anything there except for these, which may provide access to other similar troves. I have to say, if it is just more vests, shiny vests, at these other places, I am not sold, I have to say.
Based
Look, well-
on the nature of the detritus, I would say that were it not for your erstwhile naturist friends, that we very likely would have stumbled upon something truly earth-shattering. frankly, this sounds like a failure on your part to not keep your sources more secret.
I think what my friend here is trying to say is what we found is potential. And potential is incredibly valuable.
And expensive.
What we found in let me hold on. What you sent us to was a junkyard with a big hole in it. You did not know what was in there, supposedly. We just jumped into a nasty junkyard and found a big hole with some technology in it that was in, surprise, poopy condition. However, we managed to salvage information that would lead us to bigger finds. However, we don't have to go messing around, but if you would like more information, that can be arranged. These suits and show us that there's more. And more, in order to access that more, it takes apparently a very high security clearance, which means probably whatever it is quite valuable. So you want it? Let us go get it for you.
Okay. Quick out of character aside is the naturalists, not the naturists. Just make sure that
That's an intentional.
I wasn't sure if that was intentional or not. Just just double check. Okay.
He thinks they're a bunch of nudists. It's so good.
It's like Nudist Beach from Kill La Kill.
Nudist beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's I'm gonna say here. Well, I'm gonna say you can do it with
Side note question, out of character. Were we planning to give the fax machine, or that was a thing you were keeping, right, Opera?
How dare you even suggest such a thing?
Okay, just double checking. All right. All right, sorry. So I needed me to do a check.
Yeah, I want you to roll a persuasion check for me. I'm gonna say at advantage, since Opera has helped you here.
All right. I am going to pump all of my, just in case. I'm going to pump 2 of my my luck in there.
Luck points. Gotcha. Love it. Yes, brief reminder for the audience. Everyone has a luck stat in addition to the normal stuff like intelligence, dexterity, cool, body, etc. And you can, those refresh at the start of every session. You can spend those piecemeal or all at once to bump some of your rolls. All right, what do we got?
Sorry, I'm adding in all the mod stuff to it. Okay. Rolling. Okay. I think that's correct. Another 2. Nothing but 2s today. But an 18.
Okay. And roll that again because I gave you advantage.
Oh, yes. Right. Persuasion.
Which, again, I know if there's any body nitpick in the audience, yes, advantage is not a thing in Cyberpunk, but it is now. Okay.
So with if you count the +2, it would be a 25 if you add the 2 luck points to that second roll, because it would have subtracted it again. Otherwise, if I had added it.
Good call. Okay, so then we've got an 18 with a 2 on the die, or a 25 with a 9 on the die. With a 25, Gardner here just thinks for a moment. I see. I had thought that I had a very reliable source saying that there is valuable tech there. And I do find it a bit concerning that you said the naturalists. Usually they don't go to such lengths, but whatever. They are pests. I did hire you to do this job. You survived. You brought back potential. I would not call myself a gambler. I am smarter than that. But what I am is an investor. I will pay you for the job, as promised. I will consider bankrolling this future endeavor here if, and I mean if, you come up with anything valuable, then we can discuss payment. In this case, I will at least not go below basic payment. But if you come to me functionally empty-handed again, well, then we might need to discuss termination of business. At least as far as this goes. No need to shut down the garden yet. Are we clear?
Crystal clear, friend. And don't you worry. I mean, look, it's not my style. I don't know why you don't like those sexy ass jumpsuits, man. But hey, I'm not here to judge. But we'll get you something. Don't worry. And if not, we tried. We're just here. I mean, just gonna have a good time doing it. If we find you something fun, great.
Exactly. Well, you see that he takes these vests here and sort of like single finger like has this I'd say he's got like a bag with him, sort of like this shoulder bag, like big businessman shoulder bag, sort of folds them and puts them in there, instantly like wipes his hands off. All right, I expect an update. This, given that supposedly no one else has this information, I expect some sort of update on your progress within the week.
That sounds real good. Question: do I know if, just for fun flavor, do I know anything about Mr. Rosenmaker's, like, does he have a partner? Does he have, I don't know, a dog? Does he have anything that I would know about? I just basically just want to be like, tell the wife I said hi or whatever.
Does he have
But
a partner
I don't know
or
if
a
he has
dog?
anything like that.
Sure. In this case, I'm actually going to ask for a street. He has been famously sort of like cold and professional to you. Like he has like this practiced smile, but anything personal, he is not that sort of guy. But what I will let you do is make a streetwise roll to see if you have sort of heard through the grapevine any details like this.
All right. Let's see. 14.
14. You have heard you don't know how valid it is. You have heard a rumor that he has some sort of fancy, like a parrot, some sort of very fancy multicolored bird.
Interesting. And do I know if has Mr. Rosenmaker always lived up in the Acronia,
Yes.
or is he?
As far as you know.
Okay.
Actually, I'll give you this. He's not always lived there. Like the other. That's right. What do I call them? The other Galakites there in Acronia. Like he is from New Gallic originally, which is like a different continent to the southeast. It is quite some ways away, and is just one of the businessmen running the operation up above. So he's not originally from Acronia, but has been there a while.
So he kind of was originally a little more blue collar, but worked his way up. In theory,
Maybe.
Something like that.
The only thing that you know is that he's originally from New Gallic. You have no idea about his origins because he has not shared them.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll hold off for now. I'm gonna ruminate on the bird.
Okay. I mean, maybe he came from blue collar instances. Maybe not. It is hard to say.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Rosenmaker. I always appreciate it when you come down to the Neon Garden. If you would ever like me or any of my constituents to meet you up topside, let me know. Although I'm sure we're probably a little too, I don't know, we may not be fancy enough for up there, but if you ever change your mind, let me know. You're a little stiff. We got to loosen you up, Mr. Rosenmaker. Come on.
Yeah. You see that when you bring this up, he turns, I guess, another one of those smiles. Well, we'll see how your expeditions continue in the future. If you come up with something truly useful, valuable, then maybe we can discuss that sort of future.
And you can't give us any ideas of what you would consider valuable, can you? Because frankly, I mean, Opera could turn those jumpsuits around and we can sell them on Cyber Etsy for like banks. So I'd say that's pretty valuable, but...
No, what you have provided me with will be, we'll call it, I suppose, a taste of what is to come if, well, something happens to you all in the course of these expeditions. I do need to have some sort of backup, but... As I mentioned before, I'm coming to you first for a reason. You are more... This might be a bit gauche, but a bit more palatable than other contacts I have down here, but you are not the only contact that I have down here. I would prefer to work with you.
Oh man, did you hear that? I'm palatable. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
Yikes. And yeah, with as far as like truly valuing, like if it, I of course have what's the word that Jonathan is looking for? I have my own analysts. If there is something that can supplant the technology that I'm already using, or if something is deemed valuable by them, something that can be sold or served to my patrons, that would qualify as valuable.
All right. I suppose, I mean, anybody else? Y'all got any questions for Mr. Rosenmaker here?
None from me.
I don't know, any all good?
Yeah. You see that the only time he's made eye contact with anyone other than Bo is like Opera briefly while you were speaking. There's like, you know, a quick sort of just eye up down on each of you, but otherwise like has paid you no mind. He is a really nice guy. Okay, if that is all the business for the gardener, then he gives another one of those smiles and then turns on his heel and exits. Oh, as far as the payment goes, he does, pull out that agent from his bag. Yes, here we go. The agreed upon amount. You kind of catch that he is, given that it seems like he was expecting something more valuable, so it seems like he's a little bit miffed about paying you so much. But he keeps to his word, and that he transfers, boop, there's a ping on your agent as you have been deposited with 4,000 EBs, 1,000 for yourself and 3,000, of course, to spread to everyone else. And then he turns on his heel and leaves.
If it's like cyber Venmo,
Yeah.
Just respond. I as I always do for any time he pays me, just with like a wink emoji.
Love that. Yeah, there's no response, like no
Of
emoji
course.
back, but
Actually, I want to
that's
modify. I
expected.
kind of want to modify it to say like, wink, say nothing if you liked it.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
His response, okay.
Or just K. Just let it. No, he
Okay,
would not.
yeah.
He would not put us in. He would put okay. But anyways, yes, cold response. Like he's got deep pockets, and he prefers to work with you. But you've been tapping away at that egg, crack the shell for quite some time now, and believe it or not, his demeanor is better than it used to be. But he has a tough nut to crack. Okay. Then the meeting has passed. We are going to go into downtime stuff. So, as far as anything you'd like to take care of during the downtime, shopping, that sort of thing, get those gears turning. But before we open up the floodgates here, Patch and Pixie, yeah, you have a quick operation to do here. So, let me look this up real quick as far as recovering. Yeah, recovering from injuries. I know that stables. Yeah, there it is. 2, 3. Awesome. While I'm looking this up, Patch, where is your main setup here, where you would be able to perform surgeries?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. I would say she actually probably has a setup that's like the majority of it is her actual like apartment, which having done jobs with her before, you would actually assume that there would be like some items of sentimental value or whatever, but it's surprisingly sparse, like her entire apartment, and is actually built with more mobility in mind, like able to wrap everything up in a moment's notice and leave.
Okay.
So pretty minimalist throughout, but specifically there's a back room that I would say A, has no windows, and B, is attached to kind of like a back door for the more particular clients that don't necessarily want anybody to know that they need help. And that's where like the majority of all of her equipment would be.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, works for me. Let's move on from back to that other ambiance here. So yeah, you head back to your apartment. It sounds like it's a fairly modest apartment. Like as a med tech, like you can provide these services here. It sounds like you've got some perhaps shadier clients. They may not be super rich, but it's a steady income between the clients coming directly to you or occasionally being pulled into jobs with Scratch there to keep folks patched up. Yeah, so it's modest, not super slummy. I mean, you're some kind of doctor after all, but yeah,
some kind of doctor.
the Taj Mahal is not. Let's see. I'm trying to med tech, excuse me, because I know your role specifically has some stuff on like with very, very serious injuries like dismembered arms. Most everybody can do like quick fixes, sort of patch yourselves up. For major work like that, you are not, unless you have specialized training like a medtech, you do need to go to a hospital and pay them to take care of this. As a medtech, however, roll medtech, there you are, just looking for the right page. Still getting used to the layout of this book. Pardon me.
Love what you've done with the place, Patch.
You're too kind. A little bit too much.
Did you get a new table here?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I've got you loaded into the app, so I'm going to just... I think it might be a little bit... Oh, medicine level 4. Okay. Oh, it looks like you just haven't allocated them yet. So you've got medicine level 4 as a med tech here. You've got surgery, pharmaceuticals, and cryosystem operation. Choose one of the following.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
So I believe you start with some of that. Start with 04. Choose one of the following 3 to allocate 1 point to. Yeah, so you've got 4 points to allocate to surgery, pharmaceuticals, or cryosystem operation. Surgery is, well, what it says on the tin. The pharmaceuticals, so normally in Cyberpunk, there is and it's not quite as, I suppose in this instance it can be as prevalent as we wish it to be, because this is not Night City, this is Echo Center, but drugs are a pretty common thing. Not necessarily like, heroin level drugs, but like some various like stims or surges, antibiotics, things to sort of get people by in usually pretty desperate or dangerous situations. And then the cryosystem operation is kind of what it... Oh, this was an idea I had for you. So as far as with the cryosystem operation, normally you like have a cryo pump which you can use to treat people who are like in really serious condition. In this case, I am willing to, depending on how y'all choose to pursue any avenues with Friend Computer, those cloning tubes, I am willing to sort of, if you've got points in the cryo pump thing, that is going to apply to these cloning vats. It maybe takes a little while to study, but that is what I'm going to give you because I think that's more interesting. But in order to speed things along, are you cool with putting at least, or actually, so that's your roll. What have you got on stats, skills? Yeah. Do you want to put at least 1 point in the surgery here?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine surgery would sort of be her, not necessarily her specialty, but absolutely something that she would be doing.
Cool.
In between jobs, as it were.
Awesome. Excellent. So in that case, yes, please make a... we can talk this out later, but assuming you've got at least 1, which means that you can pull this off, please roll a surgery check for me there, Patch. Only, like I said, only, and for the folks at home, only medtechs can make a surgery check. Otherwise, you have to go and pay someone to do it. But thankfully, this does mean that this is going to save y'all some cash, because normally it's pretty expensive to do this sort of surgery. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real bummer that if you roll bad on that table, it can hit you right in the wallet.
Okay, so I think I found it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to click on it. And I'm actually going to put, just because I really, really, really don't want to mess this up, is there a way that I can put luck into this?
Absolutely. You can absolutely pump some luck points into this.
And I'm assuming since it's 10:41, that now is probably the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how, because it's asking me all kinds of questions here. So ability rank is at 1? If I'm putting 1 point into it?
Yeah, tell you what, so I've got it pulled up. Just roll a d10. I've got here on my app, even without any points put into this, you've got at least a +7 to this. So then depending, it's +7 base. It's going to be at least a +9 by putting 1 into with your roll. Each point in that surgery gets you +2 to that skill. So yeah, we can hash out the particulars.
And you should have 8 points to distribute among your roll abilities.
Mhm.
So you could do 2 across all 4 of them, or you could put all 4 in 2 different things, etc. So you have the ability for this check to be higher, I think.
Yeah.
If you want.
So you have 4 points, but you have 4 points from the roll. Like one of those in surgery gets 2 points in the skill. I know it's a little bit like, but point being,
Okay.
yeah, just roll a d10 and we'll go from there.
All right. Oh, really?
Okay. And I suppose we should
Lots
said
of
before you rolled, but how many luck points did you want to pump into this?
Oh, I was putting all 8 into them because I need this
okay.
to work.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Put all 8 because we're towards the end. Okay, perfect. So that is going to be a 2 plus 8 plus at least 9. So that's at least a 19, which is going to pass for the thing. This was going to be a pretty tough check, at least a DV17 for reattaching an arm. But here's what I will say. Pixie, over to you. Did you want to just reattach what you got, or did you, while they're in there, do any sort of adjustment, addition, anything like that?
While you're up on the blocks.
No. I think as long as my interface plugs still work, that's all she wants.
Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. For here's. So yeah, it takes a while, a few hours here to accomplish this, but at the end of it, yes, you are able to reattach that arm, and you are all set. Yeah. Is there anything? Would y'all like to kind of have a scene while Patches got you on the table here? Anything y'all would like to discuss or talk about? It's the same
Now
thing.
that my arm is reattached, I just want to reach up and cup her face. Just say this is some of your best work, Patch. Thank you.
Well, I do my best, you know me. You
Always.
sure everything's okay?
Oh yeah, I'm dandy now. You have to lose an arm now and then.
Just every now and again, just to keep things in perspective, I suppose.
As long as I have you to reattach it, we're all good.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Love that. That's very sweet. Okay. What I'm going to say here is yes, because I am keeping an eye on the clock. We're at, about 3 hours, which is 3 to 3.5 is what I was shooting for. Awesome.
Do I have a chance to do a quick thing?
Yes. So I was going to say, open it up to Pixie. I have something for you in a second, but for while this surgery is taking place, Bo and Opera, yes. What you got, Opera?
So are we going to have downtime narratively in between this and the next time we set out? Because I am the tech, and anything that I do that involves anything more expensive than 100 EBs is going to take me a week. Will we have a week of time I could spend on something?
So what I say deadline, but the timeline that we were given by the gardener is he expects some sort of tangible update within the week. So you've got actually about a week to produce something. That being said, I've got some ideas on how that's going to proceed, but yes,
I assume I don't spend
rest and heal
16 hours a day each of those 7 days. Because I basically, the first pretty significant chunk of change that I spend is going to be taking my cybernetics and upgrading them to reduce the amount of my soul that they have eaten, so that I am not always on the knife's edge of cyberpsychosis. The first thing I can do is I can spend 500 EBs and a week of time, assuming that I make a 21, a DV 21 check, which if I put 5 points into it, I can't fail unless I roll a 1 and then a 10 or something.
Okay.
So I know, tempting fate. So could I go ahead and make that roll?
Yes, I would say. Oof. That was my neck. Yeah, I will say go ahead and make that roll.
All right, let's see. So this is going to be
Yeah.
Cybertech. It's going to
And
include
everyone,
the
if you
+4
haven't-
bonus.
Yeah, and everyone, if you haven't already, go ahead and add 1,000 ebs to your sheet for being
And I'm gonna-
successfully completing this job.
I'm going to spend all 5 points. I need a 21.
All right, that is a 29 there in Cybertech, so you will
That will
successfully
get me
accomplish this over the
4
course of the
points of
week.
humanity back.
Okay.
And then could I? So I had an idea. I had an idea for
Mhm.
a long-term goal for opera, and with your forbearance, could I do like a 1 minute 90-second scene?
Absolutely.
Right. So, as Pixie and Patch head off, and as Bo, goes back to talking up the clientele, Opera is kind of like surly and quiet in the little corner of the warehouse that Bo gives over to him to work on her, or to work on his stable of performers, kind of like hissing at people to keep them away, a tarp over his new beloved machine. And as night finally descends, he carefully looks around and he begins wheeling the machine out, heading back towards the beach where the Technohemians live. His shack practically disappearing into a tumble of scrap metal and detritus on the beach itself, hollowed out for him to live inside. He pushes the machine inside, hearing the crackle of the electromagnetic lightning that the detritus sometimes sends up over, and thinks to himself, "They were calling me crazy. They didn't believe me. But I scoured every record I could find. I found ancient operating manuals and handwritten evidence of the hatred, the terrors that people felt for these fax machines. How they didn't even believe that they would allow people to continue using them. But only I know their truth. Only I know their potential." I pull the tarp off, revealing the fax machine, and the lightning crashes again. It says, "Soon, my precious, I shall complete you." And I pull out a blue schematic and I roll it across the table, unveiling the designs for the fully automated extermination machine.
That's the setup for a Doctor Who episode if I ever heard one.
Because I looked up the rules for building combat drones.
course you did.
Okay. And the fact that
So
it's a fax machine, oh, that's beautiful.
The
If it
lo-
were
the lo-
copyright able to like do the like, I would play the Doctor Who intro here. But
Beautiful.
It's a very long-term project, because this is going to be an ultra luxury good that I will eventually have to build. But by God, if I am not going to successfully build myself a spider mech fax machine.
I just want to like cast like vicious mockery now through a fax machine. And it just takes forever to print out, but when you finally get it, man,
It's
it
just
hurts.
devastating.
Yeah, you get read like a freaking book, and you're like, damn, it's right though.
Oh my
it's like
god.
dot matrix.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Yes.
So that is long-term project for Zare Stylish.
I love it.
Fantastic. And I look forward to the completion of the. Say it one more time.
The fully automated extermination machine.
Beautiful. Fully
Exterminate.
automated extermination machine.
So, Fame.
Or
Yeah.
I mean, I assume it's fax.
Yeah, it's fax. Fax.
Yeah. Faxum. Awesome.
Faxum.
Okay.
Fax machine.
And Bo, anything you'd like to? We can revisit this at the start of next time, as far as like any sort of like shopping and stuff. Just give y'all time to think about any cash y'all like to spend, or potentially for our fixer here, setting up a night market, possibly. See where that goes. But any scene or thoughts that you've got for this, Bo, during this week?
For downtime, because one of my things is like being able to get equipment for people at a much cheaper price.
Mhm.
And I definitely kind of envisioned Neon Garden, like part of how it makes money is setting up these kind of night markets and running those. And then like smaller versions, I guess, of that in the off time, any just sort of like general deals. But I think because Bo himself has some minor tech knowledge, but he has more knowledge of when things are forged or when they're fake. But I think that's why he pulls in folks like Opera, Patch, and Pixie also to come in and say, like, hey, is this medical equipment that people are trying to sell, like, is this like worth the price they're asking for it? Is this car car stuff up to scratch, etc. But yeah, I think I'd like to try to set one of those up so that in our downtime we can try to purchase some stuff, and I'll probably hit you up offline to be like, what is in the money that we have, what is a reasonable price to spend on this stuff.
Absolutely.
But as far as scenes, the only other thing I would like to do is, if it's possible, I'd love to get more information, like to do some research via my contacts or just, I don't know, cyber library, do some internet searches on both. I want more information on Shaw Rosenmaker.
Okay.
And just more information on like why they're looking for new technology. Are things just like boring up there and they're always looking for something new? Or is my investor having monetary trouble and is looking for a way to get more money?
Okay.
Because that would affect my business. And I'm worried that it's not that he doesn't ask us for jobs normally, but I feel like this job is so amorphous. I just want to be sure that he's not struggling financially. But even so, I'm just curious why he's asking about all this and where he's getting all this random information from. So vaguely, just kind of more information about him, his background, and what sort of businesses he works on up top.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to say you can make either a deduction library, depending on like how you feel like you're going to go about this. You threw out a couple of options, but deduction, just connect the dots. Library search, if you are doing some like database dives, or I'm going to say conversation. Conversation is specifically the skill of extracting information from people without alerting them through careful conversation. Streetwise, I don't think anyone on the street here is going to know much about him, but conversation with some of the clients that come in and out may not be the best policy to like make it blatantly obvious that you're like sticking your nose into Rosenmaker's business, but you might be able to get someone to slip up and say something new with the conversation. So one of those three: deduction, library search, or conversation.
What is library search under?
Intelligence. An education skill.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah. I think Bo is definitely, his talent is talking to people. So I'm going to go with conversation.
Okay. Works.
And I'll
for
throw
me.
my last luck point in there as well. All right. So that came out to what?
A 19.
Okay.
Okay, with a 19, this is a pretty tough thing to discover here because he is such a very like private, practiced person. With a 19, I'm functionally going to. The DV is higher than 19, but what I will give you, 19 is still pretty good. Imagine the narrative clock that is like progress bar on like finding some new pertinent valuable information on Rosenmaker. You have made progress on that bar. No particular bites yet, but I'm going to make a note on that.
Okay. Cool.
Progress. You warm some people up, butter up some people who may know something. There's just a few Galakites who think it's fun or thrilling to come slum it down here in Echo Center, and because of your connection with Gardner, some of his clients, his patrons, he sends them here specifically to you. Briefly, few hours, maybe an overnight stay. That's usually not a long time. It's more like I just imagine that. I think it's Futurama. It's like this is the most fun I've ever had, or like the most excitement I've ever had. Actually, I think it's the new medieval one, Disenchanted. Point being,
Yeah.
You start buttering up some of those people. Maybe if they come back, you treat them to a good time, you will get some new information. Okay. So then, last thing I would like to do before we wrap up here is, so it took a couple hours, maybe the next day, y'all. I think there are specific rules on recovery, but since y'all have a while here, some downtime to recover from your injuries, as well as access to patch, I'm going to say that everyone, you're able to heal all of your hit points, and y'all be fresh. Like I said, I'm not as interested in adhering to every single mechanic of the Cyberpunk system. Sorry, Talsorian Games, but about midway through this week, a couple of days later, y'all still have some time on the clock. That is when Pixie, you get a ding notification on your agent, and it is from Maverick. And all it says is, I got a lead. And that is where we are going to end this session. Yay!
Yay!
We have Billy Potato Computer Head, Billy OK Dirty Computer Potato Head, and
Friend
I have
Billy
my
OK
long-term
Potato Computer
and I
Head.
have my long-term goal.
Mm-hmm.
Narratively, I feel like opera grew a lot this session.
Yeah. I love that we're all establishing long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
Bose
And
is
my
definitely
empathy
not.
is now 2.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. And I also do. Actually, no. I'll keep that under my hat for now. But thank you, everyone who is still watching or was watching and isn't anymore and catching up later. Thank you all so much for coming in. Thanks for the subscription, Broberon, and for everybody come in and chatting here. No elevators this time around, but maybe it'll have something come back. I don't know what I'm saying. So, as we wrap up here, I'm just going to do the attributions again here real quick. So, as mentioned, that computer map there with all the servers and everything, that is thanks to Gimme Pig on Patreon. That buggy art was thanks to Uncanny Knack. Music and sound effects were from Tabletop Audio and VoiceMod. Aw. Yes, thank you for the Prime subscription. Perfect. He doesn't need Bezos doesn't need him. Yeah, Tabletop Audio and VoiceMod for all the VoiceMod sound effects and music. No Incompetech this time around. That was the elevator battle music. Overlays, as mentioned, roughly 30%, thanks to Jeff Buterbaugh. The little computer screens on the sides, as well as there on the bottom, with a little bit of color correcting by me. Everything else was me. And yes, now that we have established that we know Friend Computer, who now has quite a few additional monikers that we have to call on, that was, yes, the foreshadowing. The idea was going for Friend Computer returning from the Paranoia campaign that was once upon a time a long-running Quelmar stream.
I was going to ask if y'all had played Paranoia, because I was like, I know that.
I am
Yes,
familiar enough that I was teasing Jonathan in my in-character reactions to the lore associated with it.
Yeah, the comment you made last time, I was like, there is at least an equal chance of you knowing the game system and alluding to it as like this coincidence. Like, I get the feeling he's probably heard of it. But yes, I'll go ahead and shout out. There is the Paranoia campaign. Those videos are on the Quelmar Realm YouTube. There, you can watch those VODs. I think there are still some clips of it as well, hanging out down here below the video. Some of those highlights and clips. Particularly the intro is just a really rad video that James put together. Just sets the tone. Very cool. I I don't have the skills. I've never worked with Blender before, and I'm not about to try and put that on my plate. Quick, yeah. Rather than like going around in a circle, if for y'all, if y'all have anything to plug, go ahead and raise a hand and shout out. Yes, Angela.
Come to the Twitch channel this Thursday. System Agnostic, run by Steven. Some really cool people are playing in it, and this asshole is also playing in it. But yeah, this Thursday, and I think it's every Thursday, 7 p.m. So
yes. Yes, fantastic. Check out System Agnostic on Thursdays, which I'll go on the record and say, Angela, you are like one of the absolutely last people I would ever call an asshole. But yes, Angela is going to be there, run by Steven, as well as plenty of other. There's almost always something going on here at the Quelmar Twitch. So check out the schedule. We've got stuff going on here all the time, including I think tomorrow, or at least some Tuesdays, is the Once Upon a Time. It's Once Upon a Town. Haha. Once Upon a Town, run by Lich, so on and so forth. So yeah, plenty of Quelmar content out there. Any other plugs? Raise some hands.
I'll plug somebody.
Yeah, go for it.
I just like to plug other streamers and help people out. So if you like nerdy people who also play tabletop games sometimes, and you are also into Ren Fair stuff, you should follow someone called Jacques the Whipper, who is a Ren Fair guy. He does whip stuff, but he also plays Dungeons and Dragons with a group called Nat 21 Adventures. So you can follow Jacques, JACQUES ZEWHIPPER. I'm also a mod for him, so not that I'm biased, but and then Nat 21.
No bias.
No bias at all. Yeah. But Nat 21 Adventures is D&D played by folks that all work for Ren Fairs, and it's super nerdy and lovely. So support all the tabletop gamers and all the awesome work they do.
Yeah, fantastic. If you want, I'm always in favor of supporting other streamers, particularly nerdy Ren folks. So if you want to drop those handles, information to the chat, so people can have those. And fantastic. Any last call? Any other plugs? All right. In that case, I will quickly plug. Yes, as you can see down here at the bottom of the frame, as well as below the video, those buttons, which all those overlay buttons, those are our very own Jeff Buterbaugh, responsible for those graphics. Donating to Quelmar. The Quelmar Realm is a nonprofit organization, currently state certified nonprofit. We're still working on the federal clearance. That is still in the works. But yeah, we are a nonprofit charity organization committed to spreading gaming and community to those who would otherwise not have access to it. That is sort of the short version of that. Think, as was recently said, a community theater with board games. That's kind of the vibe here. So yes, feel free to check out Quelmar stuff. At the Quelmar Realm is our handle on just about everything. There is a Discord. I've just plopped in there, as well as our world. Everything like more Quelmar things related. The wiki, more links to all of our social media, the Discord at quelmar.world. all sorts of stuff there. And of course, Quelmar Con coming up next year, Quelmar Con 2023 in June. Is going to be a big convention for us all to come together, play games, raise money for charity. Raise money, have fun, be nerds, be a community. That's what we're, at the end of the day, what we're all here for. So that is all of the things here. Sure is fantastic. So let's see if we can get it on a take two this time. The only thing that is left is to say the thing that we all say together. I did neglect to make sure that detail was clear last time. Yes, thank you, Lee, and Coffee Vampire here, Unlikely Gamer and Coffee Vampire, redeeming Roll Those Dice. That is the tagline. Keep rolling those dice. Ready, everybody together. 1, 2, 3. Keep rolling the
those
dice.
We'll get better at it.
Two for two. Nailed it.
Something like that.